Viewers, you're welcome to another wonderful episode of Punch Sports Extra. My name is Shegun Odun. I have with me here my co-anchor, my co-analyst, and my colleague. And together we'll be taking you on a very interesting 28, 29, 30 minutes trip of the very best happening in the world of sports. Also, we'll be taking you to Abeokuta, where the Ogun Games kicked off at the weekend, and we have our guys on ground that will be giving you live updates that is happening right there in Ogun State. But hey, you're welcome to the show. Eniton Daramola is my co-anchor, commentator for the day, and of course my colleague. Eniton, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Shegun, and good afternoon to our viewers. I was going to say a very good afternoon out there to our viewers, but let me not look for trouble. But it's good to be here. It's good to be here with you.
All right, very quickly, we'll start with the front page like we always do. And yes, we're starting the front page right now. His picture is not the biggest on the front page because the Ogun Games are here and the Ogun Games have the biggest pictures on the front page this morning. And very quickly, we'll be linking up with our guys in Abeokuta so that we can get the very latest in the world or happening right there at the Ogun Games that kicked off yesterday. It was a fun fair, I guess. Abiodun Adewale, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Shegun. How are you doing today?
Can't be better. It's lively right there in Abeokuta, Ilu Egba, like it's called. What really went down yesterday? You guys were on ground throughout, from the performance of music superstar Davido to the governor, the host governor, Governor Dapo Abiodun, and his brother governors who came around, the vice president. It was a complete fun fair online from what we saw.
Well, it wasn't short of expectations per se, because before now, the momentum has been building. And one card that the organizers, the main organizing committee, had kept close to their chest about yesterday's opening ceremony was the performances of the artist performances that we were going to have. So just yesterday morning, they revealed that Asha was going to be opening it and Davido was going to close it. So that was just that about that, and it was nothing short of expectation. Well, for a little bit of a blip here and there, I was, in the last 3 days that I've been here, I've seen most of the rehearsal, some of the events that was going to take practice with them while they were doing it. And I think for the opening, for an opening ceremony of the National Sports Festival too, it wasn't stretched as much. In terms of time management, I think I have to give them that credit as well. Just about 4 hours, and we were able to capture every bit of important things that should have been done. Former president of the federation was here, just as President Tinubu was represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, former governors of the state, Professor Wole Soyinka, among other dignitaries in the state were also here. But then, among all these things too, a very symbolic and significant event at the opening ceremony of the games was missed, which was the lighting before the start of yesterday's opening ceremony. Couldn't light for the end of the opening ceremony. Coming back into the stadium last night, I spoke to the guys who were handling it, and they told us they were having some technical issues. Right now, everyone is not even being lighted in the other sport. The games have begun and actions are taking place across different in Kenya today.
Okay, very quickly now. We got reports yesterday that some athletes have been winning medals, and in the weightlifting, for example. Take us through what happened in weightlifting and other events where medals have been given.
Yeah. Are you with me?
Can you hear me?
Are you there?
Unfortunately, we have network challenges. We'll be definitely still be linking up with Abiodun Adewale and Olalekan Adetunji, our guys there in Abeokuta. Remember, it's not just in Abeokuta. They are moving around from Abeokuta, Ikene, Shagamu. Everywhere events are going on in Ogun Games. It's 2024, of course. It should have been last year. It's 2025, but it's Ogun Games 2024. Our guys are there to give you the very best update. We'll be joining Biodu very, very shortly. Now, still sticking with the front page. Remember, I said earlier that the biggest pictures on the front page from
events
the
that
events
started this weekend at Abeokuta, the Ogun Games. But the next big picture there is that of the immediate past African Footballer of the Year, who has been doing great things with his club. This week alone, he has won 2 trophies in Turkey. He has broken the record for the highest number of goals scored by a foreigner for Galatasaray in Turkey. And yesterday, he scored again, and his daughter was the announcer. Anytime. Victor Osimhen. The fans want him to stay. Everybody in Turkey, in Galatasaray, want him to stay. Now, I think he'll probably be in a dilemma.
I think you can see me smiling, right? So I was going to say that, to start with, I was going to say that our sponsors should, every time, or Victor Osimhen himself and his team, and every time we mention, because he's the most talked about, African player, footballer at the moment, and especially on this show, because he's actually, doing great. He's getting the numbers out there in Turkey. He won, I think he's gotten the Golden Boots, if I'm not mistaken, for the highest goal scorer in the league. He won a cup with Galatasaray. So he's the first Nigeria, I think second Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken, after Henry Onyekuru to win a double in one season in the Turkish league. And that's amazing. Like, what do you expect from the, I hate to say this, but the former African Footballer of the Year? I would really confess that I never do like it when you want to like introduce him and you say the immediate pass. Although we understand that he went through a turbulent season. However, he's back at his best. And what does he do best? Scoring goals. And now that leaves the question. It's going to be an emotional farewell if he leaves, or when rather he leaves Galatasaray for Europe, because the likes of, I think, Amokachi and what's his name now, Mikel Obi. Mikel Obi really wants him in Chelsea.
The fans want him to stay.
The fans want him to stay.
For his career, I think it will be better he leaves.
He leaves, yes. This is the best time, to leave. And where else would he go to other than Europe? The Premier League is calling. The Premier League is in dire need. But there are a lot of question marks over that deal. The possibility of that happening, is in the hands of Victor Osimhen and then the club that wants to sign him. But it is beautiful to hear the chants from his daughter, leading his chants. Whenever he scores, you hear Victor Osimhen. It's amazing. Like, that's what every footballer would dream of, and it's just amazing. And the fact that there was a gesture sort of from him. There was a penalty kick, if I'm not mistaken, that the goalkeeper had to take. Osimhen could have taking that, and then after scoring, everybody just gathered around. It was just so beautiful to watch. It tells you that Victor Osimhen is an amazing player. He's like the most loved Nigerian player at the moment.
Definitely, he's definitely going to be in the running for African Footballer of the Year this year.
Absolutely.
Again. Some persons are saying he should win it. Some persons are saying it should be Salah. Some persons are saying should PSG win the UEFA Champions League, it might just be Hakimi. And different persons are saying different things. But you have to just give Victor Osimhen his flowers for the fantastic season he's having. I mean, if he was not in Turkey, if he has done what he just did now in England or in Germany or in Spain, trust me, he will even be on the list for even probably the Ballon d'Or. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to win it, but he will definitely, his name will be ringing as one of the guys around the Ballon d'Or this season.
You can't rule that out entirely. It depends on. No. I'm saying, for this
outside
season,
of the top 5 leagues.
For this season, it's
of course
probably
he
too early. But over the period of maybe 2-3 seasons, it depends on where he ends up. You understand? The team he ends up, and it's obvious that anywhere he ends up, he's going to perform. He's going to give his all. He's going to make his impact. So let's see where that leads.
All right, away from Victor Osimhen, still sticking with the front page. This man is now back to life. I mean, he was ill and healthy a couple of days ago. He was playing a football game. He was trying to get a pass from the feet of his colleague and club mate, Anthony Elanga. and while stretching to get to the ball, he collided, yes, with the post, and that led to all sorts of controversies. The owner of his club had an on-field face-off with the manager, Nuno Espirito Santo. And just before we could see Jack Robinson, a couple of days ago, reports came in that he was induced coma. He was in induced coma. And Nigerians now, we really know how to pray, and that's one of our natural resources, prayer. And everywhere on social media, it was scary actually, because induced coma, many people, when you hear coma in Nigeria, it's not looking well. It's out of coma now. He released a message thanking everybody, and I'm talking about Taiwo Awoniyi of Nottingham Forest. Anytime he's back now. He's back.
Yeah, like this is good news
for him to recover.
Yes, recovery. From us here in the studio and from our organization, we actually wish him well, and we are grateful that that he's back. He's out of coma. Before he was he went into induced coma. He had an emergency surgery. Yeah, you would have thought okay, well, that's fine after the surgery, like everything is fine, and because of where he is, you feel he's in best hands. But thank God that there were maybe checks afterward, and they discovered that maybe there's still something we need to do, or this guy is not out of the woods yet. And who knows what we'll be saying now if they they didn't notice what they noticed, and he had to go into induced coma. And then all Nigerians, like football lovers, that knew about this, started praying. I think, because beyond that, what could you do? And then the best wishes too. And it's nice to see that he dropped the message last night.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yesterday morning, I guess.
Yesterday morning.
Where he was just appreciating everybody for the love.
It's just amazing. And there was a gesture from his teammates. They played against West Ham yesterday, and they won 2 goals to 1.
Yeah,
and
Morgan
when they
Gibbs
scored,
White.
they brought out his jersey with Awoniyi number 9, and then everybody, it just shows that beyond the game, beyond rivalry, beyond all this, it's just love. And
love.
Good one from our brother from Senegal. What's his name now? Sadio Mane. Who put out a message, to him. And then the Super Eagles players as well. I saw a message from
even the Super Eagles.
Super Eagles.
Was Victor Osimhen.
Yes, and then you were talking about what's it called now? The back and forth between the owner and the coach. We could easily misinterpret that as to say that the coach was blaming, the owner was blaming the coach. But there was a message from Nottingham Forest saying that it was misinterpreted, and it was the fact that he was asking why they had to allow him play on, because he was concerned about Taiwo Awoniyi. And we are glad that it's fine. What could we
of the woods finally? Good one. We do
wish
hope.
him speedy recovery.
Exactly. We wish him a speedy recovery, and that he's back on his feet as soon as possible. Very quickly, we move on. Still sticking with the front page, but to the left corner of the front page now. Crystal Palace FA Cup goal scoring player Eberechi Eze. I mean, we'll talk about the heroics later, but he's being wanted by Chelsea. Now the question is, who is not wanted by Chelsea? I mean, Eberechi Eze to Chelsea. Remember last season it was 2 of them, Michael Olise and Eberechi Eze. Olise left for Bayern. He has won his trophy. I mean, doing great things for himself in Germany, and also for the French national team. And now Eberechi Eze, boom, leading Crystal Palace to their very first trophy ever in history. And now the Blues want him. I mean, should he move to the Blues?
The Blues want Eberechi Eze. The Blues want Enit Odaramola. The Blues want everybody, practically everybody. I could tell you for a fact that our fans that are watching here, the Blues want them. The Blues want you. So if you make the decision, just let us know. We'll gladly
offer you to Chelsea.
Offer you to Chelsea. But let's be serious. Chelsea wants everybody. They don't just want everybody. They want everybody who's getting it right. And you cannot erase the fact that Eberechi Eze has been absolutely outstanding for Crystal Palace. He's hit I think a double goal for his team, and assists this season. And what a way to end the season. Goals and assists. And what a way to end the season by sinking Manchester City, ensuring that they end their season trophyless. And okay, let me not go to but let it not be too early.
And he has made Europe.
Yes, and he has
making the Europa League
exactly
just like that.
And what else could you ask for? I think that, you know, many clubs slept
Should
on
he go to Chelsea?
Eberechi Eze. Well, that's his decision to make. Well, I would advise him not to go to Chelsea.
Okay.
Do whatever you do, Eze. Do not go to Chelsea. At least not now. I think Chelsea are trying to find their, you know, footings. They've not been able to manage the resources. Now, when I say resources, I'm talking about, you know, the talents that they have. You know, you have what's his name, Moises Caicedo. You have Enzo. You
Fernandes.
have Palma, Fernandes. You have all these players.
So where will he be playing?
Exactly. So that's the thing. You know, they've not been able to form a team out of, you know, all this talent. So I don't want him to, you know, to just end up like a crop of, you know, these players that they have. Big respect to those players actually, because they are amazing, you know, players and talents. But I don't want Eberechi Eze to end up there. Manchester City almost snapped him up, if I'm not mistaken, last summer. Manchester United were in the running for him. So I think big teams actually missed out on Eberechi Eze. He's a good addition to any team. I know that reports say that Manchester United are going for what's his name, Matheus Cunha. However, I think if they still want to strengthen, I beg your pardon, their midfield, they should go for a player like Eze, because they need to relieve the, you know, the workload on what's his name now, Bruno Fernandes. And if Arsenal are also thinking, oh, we need to, you know, what's the word now? We need to stock up in this, strengthen this area. Eberechi Eze is a perfect addition to anything team, I beg your pardon. However, if they sleep on him one more summer, they'll be surprised to see that clubs from Europe outside, you know, will come
outside
and snap him
England
up. How they snapped Eze, Michael Olise up. So,
all right. Very quickly now moving away from football, but still sticking in the front page, we're talking about Favour Philly and our record. I mean, did you see that run? If you've not seen that run, you are missing a whole lot. World record. I mean, 150 meters, the fastest. Favour Philly. I mean, that race is still playing in my head. It was out of this world. She was just having fun. For me, I didn't even think she was running. She was just having fun, and like breeze, she was just there. The funny thing is, it's only Favour Philly that is on the front page because of the fact that she has broken the record. But what these Nigerian runners in the United States are doing, what these guys are doing, Gabriel, Oyinkansola Ajayi, what all of these guys are doing, 400 meters, 200 meters, 100 meters, what they are doing at the moment is out of this world, and it's out of this world entirely.
Absolutely out of this world. Kudos to our guys out there. They are really, you know, representing us well. And beyond representing us, they are actually, you know, representing themselves and their family well, quite well. They are doing, you know, what we expect that they could do, what we believe, you understand, that they could do. And it's just, you know, brilliant to see that they actually can showcase themselves rather, you know, out there in the United States. And we are hoping that come the next maybe Olympics or, you know, the next bigger tournament, they can actually show the stuff they are made of, you know, without injuries, without talks about washing uniforms, without talks about, you know, because these guys are absolutely brilliant. These guys in the hands of teams like countries like the US, Poland, the Great Britain, name them, these guys would get them gold medal. So I just, you know, congratulate them, and, you know, hopefully when we go out, you know, for the next outing, the big outing, we'll see them bringing the gold medal.
Teenage superstar sensation and Barcelona forward Lamine Yamal is being touted for a mega deal with Barcelona. That boy is not 17. He's not 18 years. He just clocked 17.
So what's the problem?
And he's doing mad moves like that.
Amazing.
Yesterday he scored another. That boy. Yesterday he scored again for Barcelona, even though they lost. Their first loss, I mean, at their new makeshift home this calendar year. But Lamine Yamal, he deserves it. In fact, he's so hot at the moment that many persons are even saying that perhaps he should be given the Ballon d'Or, even though I think that's a little too far at the moment.
A little too far? I'd like to, you know, commend you, because for a Madrid fan to, you know, to say all this about
Lamine I mean, it's just the truth. It's just how good he is.
You know, you just need to admit that, you know, we've not seen someone this interesting, you know, all round.
Yeah, at this
interesting
age.
At this age.
16, 17.
Since Lionel Messi, although what Lionel Messi brought to the scene was
even at 17, Messi
amazing.
was.
But you cannot,
was not a star.
It wasn't a star, but it was a big threat. Like you
star.
could see that. Oh no, this guy is something.
He wasn't 2006 when he was about 20,
regardless, you could see what Lamine does.
Yeah.
And you'd just how does he
just wonder
the effrontery as to to just go past a defender or two. And then, the goal he scored, there was a goal he almost scored yesterday after, his first goal. And then he went past, like, in between two players, the way he just went, and then he was already open.
The ease.
The ease. He's a talent to watch out for, in years to come. And Barcelona have raw gold in their hands. I hope they manage him well.
All right, that will be all from us on the front page this morning. I mean, we didn't give you all the juice on the front page. So if you want more, you are not full with what we gave you, please meet with your vendor and grab a copy and enjoy the read. Very quickly, we'll be moving into the meat of the show right now and where best to start. But from the FA Cup final showdown. What a game it was. Eberechi Eze scored quite early. And then there was a trip of Bernardo Silva. Personally, I still don't consider that a penalty. But it was given by, anyway, I'm not the referee. And VAR confirmed it too. Erling Haaland took the ball, kissed the ball. We thought he was going to kick it and take the penalty in the final. But he gave it to Mar Mamouche, the Egyptian. I was wondering why the marquee signing. You come out last from the tunnel for your team for a reason. But reports have it that he said it was the decision of Pep Guardiola. Step up Omar Mamouche, kick it to the right of Dane Henderson. A great save. At the end of the day, it ended 1-0 after 111 minutes because there was about 10 minutes extra time. But guess what? Oliver Glasner's side stood thick and they won it. The first trophy ever in the history of that club. And that man said in a press conference earlier that anytime he comes up against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, Guardiola either changes his techniques and tactics, else he'll win. And that was not a threat. It came to pass.
Well, it's good to see that. It's good to see that. There's I think it was Jose Mourinho that said this, or somebody said this and said when you say something, you make sure you do it. And that's just what has played out. Congratulations to Crystal Palace, the very first time, the very first trophy in their entire history. What a way to win it! What a time to win it! And well, the best team ever, this is the best team to win a trophy against Manchester City, because they are like arguably the best team, in the last maybe couple of years.
But this has not been a year, obviously.
Oh, well.
This is the first time they will be finishing without a trophy.
That's not an excuse.
They are even struggling to make Champions League.
Thanks to Liverpool, who won the league, and thanks to Crystal Palace, who ensured that they didn't get their hands on the trophy. Oh well, they won the Community Shield. You could argue, that they won the Community Shield. If this were to be Arsenal, they would tell you, "Oh, we won the Community Shield." So you could argue that they won. Hey,
innocent people when they are seated there.
I was innocently saying what
shades.
Came to my mind. You saw it as a shade. I'm sure they didn't see it. I'm sure they didn't see. As that, but what a way to to win the trophy. However, questions upon questions. Why did Omar Mamouche take the penalty? Why? Haaland would have buried that.
Oh, you're sure?
Yes, Haaland would have buried that. Although we also need to give kudos to the former Manchester United goalkeeper Dean Henderson, who at the end of the game had a little bit of squabble. Permit me to use that one.
It's Guardiola.
Pep Guardiola.
Pep went to meet him and complained that he was wasting time.
Oh well,
but
if you remove in quotes the wasting time, the alleged time wasting, look at the attempts that Manchester City had.
Yeah.
First half, second half, they had attempts upon attempts, but there was somebody there stopping them from scoring that goal, and that's Dean Henderson. I think he deserves I think he deserves to be named the player of the match.
It was given to Daniel Munoz.
Yes, but he deserved to be named. Personally, he deserved, to be named player of the match because he stopped Manchester City from sitting.
He did.
Yesterday.
He did.
Allow me to use that.
He did.
Yeah, the noisy neighbors were practically silent. So, kudos to Crystal Palace. You could recall that the last time they were in the final, like it was this same competition. I think it was about maybe 10 years ago, or maybe 10 years
they've
ago,
always lost against Manchester United,
where we had what's his name now, their former coach, dancing after they scored a goal. But then Manchester United, came back and won 2-1. You recall that goal from what's his name now, Jesse Lingard, that beautiful goal from Jesse Lingard. But thank you, Jay Links.
He's in the dustbin of history now at the moment.
You say
of football history.
You have said so.
He's playing somewhere in Japan.
Oh well, and he's getting his cool cash right there in Japan.
Nigerians and money.
No, it's not about Nigerians and money.
When you talk to a Nigerian about facts, he will twist it and say, "Am I not making more money than you?" Even though you are being factual. All right, very quickly now, let's move away from the FA Cup final to the complete madness that is going on in Italy. Yesterday, I kept switching channels to monitor if Napoli was having a penalty or if it was Inter Milan. It was complete madness yesterday. At the end of the day, there's still a 1 point gap going into game week 38. Yesterday, Inter played against Lazio, and they needed to win that game to go ahead of Napoli. And Napoli was playing against Parma, and you expect Napoli to beat Parma. But first half ended 0-0 for both teams. At the end of the day, it ended 0-0 for Napoli and Parma. They were supposed to get a penalty, or they thought they got a penalty in the 89th minute. That's Napoli. VAR said no, even though the referee gave it. Inter, Dumfries scored 2-1, and then somehow in the 88th or 89th minute, there was a penalty for Lazio, buried by Pedro. It was bananas yesterday, really. Complete bananas.
It was really, 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 crazy. When, you were thinking, oh, the league is going to be decided today. And all of a sudden, someone 0-0, and then someone went 1-0. It was 1-1 at the point, between Inter and Lazio, and then Dumfries came to the rescue. Oh, it was a brilliant goal by him.
Sweet goal.
Absolutely, the keeper couldn't do anything.
Sweet goal.
It was a sweet goal. And what were you expecting from a team, that defeated Barcelona some weeks back
with their defensive prowess?
Exactly. Just lock that game.
They
you
tried
don't
to
need
lock
to.
the shop. The shop just
Yes,
did
but
not
the
lock.
shop did not lock.
They
should have changed the padlock when they ought to have changed it. But unfortunately, it had to be from their own person. The undoing came from, I think it was the guy that scored the first goal. And I tried to look at when Arsene Wenger
was trying so hard to
and when Arsene Wenger complained about slow motions to make a call, and I was thinking, oh, maybe it was a slow motion.
But I think it was a
penalty. But then, yes, I agree with you, because he actually wanted to use scope to use his hand. But VAR unscoped him because he saw that he actually moved his hand.
And then he moved his hand.
I don't know what dance step is that. Maybe there's a dance like that in Italy that they just do like this and check your body.
Lautaro Martinez was not playing. He was up with his wife and he almost fainted.
Why won't he?
Why won't he?
And guess what? I think the bad part for them was the person that scored that penalty. Barca fans will be really, really happy. And then you could see the laugh on his face after scoring the penalty.
Like, you people are in trouble.
But it's amazing.
Football is just...
Another thing.
Goodness.
So presently, they I think they've played about 37 matches. They are 1 point. Napoli are 1 point
ahead of Inter.
However, Inter have more goals than Napoli, and I don't know how it will be at the end of the final game. It looks like there's a possibility that we'll see a playoff for the Scudetto this season. It looks like.
Do you think Napoli can beat Cagliari in the last game of the season?
It's possible, and then it's
Inter
also
that
possible
could not
for
beat
them.
Parma. A Napoli that could not beat Parma, and kept fighting for one goal. Everybody
It's just
Lukaku.
bonkers. It was just bonkers yesterday, and I think we're going to see. Why did you mention Lukaku? Sounded funny, but I think we're going to see more drama
on the last day.
This is what football is
about.
Exactly. So, and it's nice that we are seeing between what's the name now, Barcelona and Real Madrid. Unfortunately, we couldn't see it to the
anyway. There will still be some drama in Europe because on the last day in England, the final out of that entire 10 games that day. I mean, if you can, that's the game to watch. Nottingham Forest against Chelsea. Whoever wins most likely qualifies for the UEFA Champions League next season. Newcastle got defeated second position trophy of the season. I mean, I said trophy because, you know, Arsenal fans, that's our trophy now.
Oh,
we
wow.
know.
So
we
who's
know.
throwing shades now?
No shades. I'm just
Who's
saying
throwing
reality.
shades
Like,
now? Who's throwing shades now?
Good one is that now they are cemented. They've cemented their spots for Champions League next season. Newcastle most likely will too because they are playing against Everton away from home at the St James Park. I mean, most likely, it's likely to get a result. Now, City have not played their 37th game. Remember, they played at the final against Crystal Palace. So they're going to be playing tomorrow. They're going to be playing against Bournemouth. Bournemouth themselves chasing 8th position. Remember that there's still mathematical possibility for the 8th placed team in the English football this season to make Europe. I'll be doing that math later. I hope we have time for all of that. But 5 automatically going to the Champions League. 6th going to Europa with Crystal Palace now, and then 7th, the Conference League. I mean, you know, there's a battle. There's no battle for 7 because one of the guys fighting for Champions League will probably still make it because I mean, looking at the mathematical calculation, one of them will be going to the Conference League. And then for 8th, if Chelsea gets knocked out of top 5, that is if Chelsea don't make the Champions League spot, and then Chelsea goes on to win the UEFA Conference League. That's automatic qualification for the Europa League. Yeah. So if they do not make the Champions League, that means there will be an available slot for the 8th person. So for Brentford and Bournemouth and those guys in the 8th and 9th position right now,
Crystal Palace has made it difficult for some of them. So
Crystal Palace is definitely going to Europe.
Yeah, so
they may go to Europe now if Chelsea does not make it, and then Chelsea goes on to win. So it's a good one for English football this year. It's just that it depends on the side of the divide that you belong. It may just be chaotic. By the way, just before we go, Remo Stars, the champions, 24-25 champions of the Nigerian Premier Football League, went around their axis for the bus store, Ikene, Shagamu, and it was lovely, only that content creators online were comparing their own bus store with past bus stores, and anything is laughing already. Some of those bus stores
because I saw
exactly. You know, it was comedy, really. But it's good for Nigerian football. Hopefully, we keep getting better.
Exactly.
Next season, champions should probably do something better. Maybe we even have a tour with helicopter, you know, maybe in 2029, 2030, somebody is just,
Let's take it easy.
You know, to the next level. All right, that'll be the end of the show for us this wonderful Monday afternoon. A very big thank you for being a part of this. Like I always say, we are here because you are there, especially nowadays that data is actually very expensive. Data is life, they say. So we appreciate you, we love you. Thank you very much for being a part of this package. Maybe thank you to Eniton Daramola and the shades he threw to Arsenal fans.
One more
Thank you very much for being a part of this package as well.
It's somebody that you know was actually an Arsenal fan.
A very big thank you to Abiodun Adewale and Olalikun Adetuji for giving us live reports from Abeokuta. I'll be hooking up with them next Monday too, God willing, when we'll be back for Punch Sports Extra, just like we always do. A very big thank you to everyone behind the buttons for doing justice